Hello everyone, I present to you today the One Caribbean, One UN, One Humanitarian response to Hurricane Beryl, a plan to step beyond sustainable development and implement a world-class Caribbean-led permanent reconstruction effort that builds a resilience in the islands affected by Hurricane Beryl and ensures that they never need the support of international organizations again, that will lift them out of poverty and into a post-scarcity fifth industrial revolution. I know, big ideas, right? I'm Nick, and I'm a professional disaster responder. I've worked for INGOs in the United Nations, and I've worked on Wall Street. I'm a systems designer. I am many things. Importantly, I have access to many of the world's best AI tools to advise me. I'm presenting to you the best possible design I can possibly create for the Hurricane Beryl response. But I am new to the Caribbean. I'm a nobody here. I don't know people here. So I need your help with this plan. I've called this plan Project Union. It's an attempt to unite us all under one response. I believe we can take this terrible disaster, which is minuscule in comparison to what it is possible in the future, to rapidly take risks and innovate at low costs in micro environments. I mean, there's really 7 or 8 highly damaged islands. The scale of the response, the cost of the response is small. This is a perfect opportunity to innovate. I suggest to you that all governments, all agencies, all people could take this one disaster and unite under one banner and try something never before attempted. I believe that we could do this. I believe we could take and build a world-class team of 300 disaster reconstruction experts, primarily a group of young professionals and upcoming leaders from the Caribbean, that could efficiently and effectively lead a response effort under the mentorship and guidance of the international humanitarian organizations, the UN, government, academia, and just generally the wisdom of the crowd. I'm suggesting that this disaster, tiny in its scope and cost, that we could use this to rapidly scale the capacity of the Caribbean disaster risk reduction, response, and reconstruction sector, mainstreaming DRR and climate change mitigation to every island in the Caribbean. I mean, just imagine if every single inhabited island in the Caribbean had Starlink and a base camp in a box and had at least one, if not more, trained island heads and a committee around them that was capacitated in preparedness and response. Just that simple step would be absolutely massive, would it not? So I'm planning to, or my suggestion is that we could build an elite team. We could, of 300, let's unite as a Caribbean and international community to mentor and train them for 1 to 2 years, with me as their leader. Mentor and train me too, for I need guidance and feedback in order to self-regulate, and I'm sure to make mistakes. And if you find a better leader, then I'll happily retire and go farm somewhere. But this group, I suggest we will work hand in hand, sleeping, living in these local communities to rebuild better and rebuild regeneratively, stepping beyond this concept of sustainable development and these small iterative steps, and try and leapfrog into the next steps. Of this 300, I would suggest that we take 100 from the affected countries, 50 from Grenada, 50 from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We take another 100 from across the Caribbean nations, say 3 per nation, the best 3 people that each country in the Caribbean could send us. 100 from the west of the world, maybe 50 from the global south, 50 from the global north, a max of 2 from each country so that we could get as much diversity as possible. and that we, set a salary cap on this group. We all take $2,000 a month, no more, me included. And sure, all of our expenses are paid for by this response, but that $2,000 would then just be sent home to our families. That would be the idea, the economic model. So 300 people doing this on behalf of all the Caribbean and all the international responders. That's only like $600,000 in salary, plus accommodations and food, which we would build and start to grow ourselves. So $800,000 a month? That's equivalent to about 40 UN staff in the field. The economic value of transitioning to this model is a no-brainer. And I believe that we could unite and pool all of the funds from government, from the insurance sector, the UN, development banks, private sector, GoFundMe campaigns, faith-based organizations, venture capitalists, impact investors, and more, and manage those funds with complete transparency, with all of our activities open source and public. All transactions digitally logged in a transparent expense management system. It could be something simple like Expensify, or it could be built on the blockchain. We could have a public project management system built on something like Notion or ClickUp, Asana or Trello or Jira. We could have a knowledge base built on something like MediaWiki. We could utilize best-in-class monitoring and evaluation techniques. We could live stream the construction sites. We could do daily photos and updates and reports, daily public briefings. We could do TV shows, documentaries, live streams, AMAs, Ask Me Anythings, etc. We can do this completely transparently and efficiently and ensure no favoritism, no corruption, no political shenanigans of any sort. In a disaster response, there's so much duplication of effort. Each organization that responds has project managers, accountants, lawyers, risk managers, security staff, logisticians. Each organization is solving problems over and over and over in duplication. And a lot of the lessons are lost each time because there is such distance between these complex emergencies, and capacity gets lost and systems don't get properly set up. So we could do things better, is what I'm saying. The world could put $1 billion into this initiative quickly, into Project Union. It could. It's easy. The resources are there. But first, we do need to start small. So I'm suggesting $50,000 of risk capital to start small and scale, to legalize everything, get some lawyers for some plane tickets, for some salaries, for some marketing, for some recruitment, for some technology, and so that we could get meetings with the right people that would be able to bring this together and make this dream a reality. And a response like this is only possible now because of technologies like workflow automation and AI. And they enable us to do things that have never been done before, and this is the perfect opportunity. I believe that part of the way of starting is that we build Base Camp Union, an actual physical site, a training center in the affected areas, which aptly include Union Island in St. Vincent. So we could build Project Union and Base Camp Union on Union Island, but maybe it's more appropriate on a different island. I don't know yet. I don't know what I don't know. Now, we could use this Base Camp Union as a model of rapidly scaling up a humanitarian response, a disaster response, scaling regenerative permanent solutions. It could have accommodations, offices, training facilities, lecture halls, entertainment, eating facilities, and more, so that it could house, at least temporarily, the entire humanitarian response community. Just think about how much money is going to be going into people living in yachts and hotels over the coming months and years during this reconstruction effort. What if everyone a part of this response had low-cost accommodations to go to that we built as part of this response? temporary in nature, but eventually evolving into more permanent, long-term training facilities, a mini university of sorts, a living laboratory potentially. So we could, this base camp, we could collaborate all together in one place, and then as we grow and scale this team of 300 professionals, the international responders could scale down and transition to providing remote leadership, support, guidance, direction, oversight, monitoring, and evaluation. And I propose all of these ideas to you. I propose these ideas to the leaders of Grenada, the leaders of Grenada and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, to the leaders of these islands, to the leaders of all Caribbean nations, whether in CARICOM or not. You have lumber and food and skills and resources that are incredibly useful for the region. I propose these ideas today to the UN, to the international humanitarian community, to academia, to think tanks, to our business leaders. I propose these ideas to the regional and colonial powers of the UK, France, Spain, USA, and the Netherlands. I propose this idea to all small island developing states and the global south. What if we all united in this particular disaster response and see what we could learn together? Let's pool our resources. Let's unite. One Hurricane Beryl response, one Caribbean, one UN, one humanitarian and development community. Let's experiment with permanent aid. Let's do UN 2.0 at scale. Disaster 2.0, crowdsourcing 2.0, development 2.0, whatever you want to call it. Let's take this tragedy and turn it into an opportunity. There is no time to waste. Sea levels are rising and could overrun our shores any day. Storms are the new normal. The next hurricane or earthquake could come tomorrow, next week. But this is the new normal. Most importantly, I present these ideas to the people of the Caribbean, especially to the youth and the next generations. Your opinions matter to me most. What do you think? All of you. What do you think? Do you think we could do this? I do. I think we could do this together. If we could all come together. And in the words of my father, it's amazing what can be achieved if nobody cares who gets the credit. So I'm going to name 7 names. Name the name of 7 people who could make all of this happen in under 1 week. I mean, sure, we could go slower, but as ideators and as designers, let's start with what is most optimal and most ideal. It's very simple. If we could get these 7 people together and in agreement, we could make things fly. So, let me name names, and I apologize for this, but please, guys, give me a call, reach out. Let's talk. Maybe this isn't the perfect idea. Maybe we do part of this. Maybe we do all of this. Maybe this is shelved and we do it next time. But let's get this conversation going yesterday, okay? So I'm going to call on Prime Minister Mitchell of Grenada. I'm going to call on Prime Minister Ralph Gonzalez of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I'm going to call on the Chairman of CARICOM, Guyana Prime Minister Ephraim Ali. I'm going to call on Secretary General for CARICOM, Dr. Carla Barnett. And I'm going to call on Simon Springett, who is the United Nations Residence Coordinator for Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean. Those are the 5 political heads that would be the decision making in this response. If they all unite on something, then everything can flow from there and all the other people can be brought under the tent. And then I'm going to call on Ken Dart, chairman of Dart Enterprises in the Cayman Islands. He could finance all of this himself. I know little about the others, but I've studied Prime Minister Ephraim Ali in great depth, and I believe he has the potential to be one of the greatest leaders of our generation, giving voice to the Caribbean, small island developing states, and the global south. Let's train and support him. Let's give him opportunities for leadership. Let's mentor and develop him and his teams. And Ken Dart, I've also studied him in Dart Enterprises. He's a good man who cares about the world. And he happens to have accumulated a net worth of approximately 15 to 35 billion. And owns approximately something like 40% of the land in the Cayman Islands. Of course, he's a private individual, so that information is not public, but based on some open source intelligence, I think that's a reasonable guess. Ken Dart, he could sell $1 billion of his shares in tobacco companies and fund all of this in a second. This project could be his legacy. Then I would call on Mr. Beast, the world's best content creator, to help us tell our stories and to bring us education on content creators, give us your network and give us your audience to tell our stories. Together, the 7 of us and everyone that would join us afterwards could really pull this off. So let's create a team of 300 future leaders, content creators dedicated to saving the world, a small army of change makers designed to scale. But let's recognize it. I'm a nobody here in the Caribbean. I have no funding. I have no backing. I have not taken in donations, and I'm poor. I'm one man, supported by my wife and 2 beautiful daughters, friends and family, hundreds, if not thousands of people that I've talked to about my ideas over the years, many mentors and coaches. But I'm no public figure. I'm no politician, no social media content creator. I'm new to the Caribbean. I'm just Nick. I'm a systems designer, and I've got dreams and I've got designs, and I need your help. So I say, let's start this conversation. Join me tomorrow at 3 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time. That's Thursday, the 18th, for an AMA and Ask Me Anything and a discussion. Let's see who shows up. We could do these daily. I invite the people that I named out and anyone else to reach out to me via email at nick@empoweringearth.ai, or via my LinkedIn at Nick in Paradise. Let's connect. Share your interest with us in joining our advisory team or becoming one of our 300, becoming one of their trainers, partnering with us, funding us. I'll share with this video a form of an expression of interest to get involved in this. Let's also raise that $50,000 of early risk capital so that we can do everything legally and properly. I've set up a GoFundMe for this purpose, and I'm going to share an amazing TED Talk from 10 years ago describing the importance of risk capital and how it can get used. So let's start this conversation. Let's talk. I'll also set up a Calendly for if anyone wants to grab 15 minutes with me to talk more about these ideas. I come to you with humbleness and the idea of being your servant. I want to work for the people that I just named to make this happen. I want to work for the people of the Caribbean, the people of these 2 nations, the people of the global South, and the people of the world. I'm happy to serve. If you find someone better, let's choose them. But can we not try to have more unity in this response? This is a great opportunity to do it, and I'd be really disappointed if we can't make it happen. So thank you everyone for listening. There's a whole bunch of videos that I put together. I'm not a content creator, so please be gentle with me, with my ums and my ahs and all the rest of that, my low production quality. Sorry. Help me learn, help me do better, support me, build a team around me. I suggest starting with 300 in person, but let's gather as much of the tribe of change makers under one umbrella as possible. Let's create a network of networks. I don't know, the sky's the limit. Dream big, folks. Thank you, everyone. One love.